Hi, I'm Björn, and in what will be the first video on this channel, I want to show you how I route multi-output audio out of instruments like EZDrummer or SuperiorDrummer in Logic Pro. Coming from Pro Tools, I was used to it being very easy to just route the output of instruments into audio tracks and record them. And in Logic Pro, I found it a bit more difficult. The thing that always bugged me is that Logic Pro only offers you 16 stereo outs for every virtual instrument. So I had to find a workaround, and today I want to show you what I figured out. So now we're in Logic Pro, and the first step is, as you would expect, to just load EZDrummer on a new software instrument track. I create a new software instrument track, it shows up in the mixer, and I choose Toontrack, EZDrummer, and what you would normally do now is to click on this plus sign to create some aux tracks. But since you can only go up to 16, while EZDrummer offers in this instrument configuration 21 different channels, we go a different way. We leave this as it is for now and create another 20 aux tracks. This one has automatically been created as soon as I loaded up EZDrummer. And you can either go to Options, Create New Auxiliary Channel Strip, or just hit Ctrl N. And we already got one, so I create another 20. Right, so now we got 21 aux tracks. They all got input 1 and 2 from my audio interface as input selected, which doesn't matter right now. We will change that in a second. Now comes the tedious part. We go into EZDrummer, and as you can see, everything is routed to channel 1 and 2 right now. So if you would play it back now, everything goes to the first auxiliary. And this is not what we want. What we are going to do instead is to route all the instruments to individual channels. But now the problem is, as you can see, kick in, kick out, kick sub. These are all mono instruments, but they are going to a stereo output. To fix that, we do a panning trick. So we pan kick in to the left, so it goes to channel 1, and we pan kick out to the right, so it goes to channel 2. Now we have them separated. But be careful, there is one little thing to think of. Output 1 and 2 is already taken by this auxiliary. That's a bit of a specialty by Logic. So we start with 3 and 4. Now we have kick in on channel 3, and we route kick out to channel 4, kick sub goes to channel 5, snare top goes to channel 6, snare bottom goes to channel 7, hi-hat goes to channel 8. You get the idea. I might speed this up now. Now I got to the first stereo channel. This one can just go to the next free stereo pair, which in this case is 15-16, since I've routed floor tom 2 to 13, so left channel, and right to 14. Right channel 15-16 still free, and we continue with overhead mono, which then goes to 17-18 on the left side. And I skip the next stereo channel for the moment, go over to ambience mono, pan it to the right, and choose 17 and 18, so it goes to 18. Now we've routed all the mono channels, and we still have 2 stereo channels left, which is ambience, and the next free pair would be 23 and 24 for ambience, and percussion overhead goes to 25 and 26. Now, if we try to play an instrument, it all seems to be a bit weird, because everything is still going to this auxiliary, but the panning is totally messed up. To fix that, we go to our aux2, and as input, we choose Instrument, EZDrummer 3 and 4. Let's go back to the mixer here to have a visual representation of what we're doing. And this one would be my kick in. Now, kick out would be on 3 and 4 as well, but on the right side. So we go to here and make it kick out. Now we have kick sub, which goes to channel 5. And we have snare top, which goes to channel 6. Next is snare bottom, which goes to 7. Remember, it's always still the stereo pair, so it shows 7 and 8, but we will fix that in a second. Next one is hi-hat. Next up is ambience, which is again a stereo track. We routed that to 23 and 24. So I choose 23 and 24. Call it ambience. Next up is ambience mono, which goes to 17, 18 on the right side. Just call it ambience M to save some space. So it's 17, 18 on the right side. Crunch is 19, 20 on the left. One shot, 19, 20 on the right. And we almost got it. Shaker. 21, 22 on the left. I think you got it by now. Last but not least, tambourine on 21, 22 on the right. And finally, percussion overhead on 25 and 26. Okay, now let's check if everything works as expected. We select all the channels, put the fader to 0, and let's see what happens. As you can see, when I play, for example, the rag tom, it is the loudest in this channel, and if I play the snare, it's the loudest in here. Of course, there is some bleed active, so you can also see it in the overheads and in the ambience tracks. But it seems to work fine, except for one weird thing. Just listen again. Kick, for example, is coming out only on the left channel. That's not exactly what we wanted. So we have to fix that as well. Fortunately, there is a very simple tool available in Logic Pro, which lets us decide if we want to have these tracks only in mono. So on this channel, we only want to have the kick in as mono. We go to Audio Effects, Utility, Gain, and choose the stereo version of this plugin. Now we hit mono and set the input balance 100% to the left side. So the channel will now play in mono and only what's coming in on the left channel, so channel 3. If we solo this now, we can clearly hear kick in is playing in the middle. If I deactivate the plugin, we can hear it on the left side. So let's activate it again. And we have it in the middle and only kick in. Now let's do the same thing with kick out. It's coming out of 3 and 4 as well, but we only want to hear channel 4 in the middle, in the center of the channel. So we go to Utility, Gain, Stereo. We switch this channel to mono and the input balance 100% to the right. And if we solo this channel now, we can hear kick out plays only in the center. Let's continue to kick sub. This is coming on 5 and 6 on the left side. So we go to mono, left side, and if we solo it, which I already did, we can hardly hear, depending on your listening situation, kick sub coming out in the center of this auxiliary track. And one more, snare top. I solo it. I choose this plugin. Let's double check. Snare top is coming out of 5 and 6 on the right side. So we go to mono and we only want to hear the right side of 5 and 6. Let's check. That worked just fine. So I will speed this up now again to save you some valuable time. I think you got the principle behind it, and we will check again with the next stereo aux. Okay, so far I routed everything up until channel 13, 14, inserted the gain plugin and chose which channel I want to hear and put it on mono to hear it in the center. Of course, you could do it way easier by just remembering if this one is set to left or right and then just pulling it over without having to choose it from the plugin menu, but for demonstration purposes I chose to go this way. Now channel 15, 16 for the overheads is already in stereo, so yes, we ain't got to do nothing with it. If I just solo it and play something, it's just the overheads in stereo. Let's continue. Last but not least, we have percussion overheads, which is stereo again on 25 and 26. So that's all we get to do in the first place, to route every channel of EZDrummer to its own auxiliary track and to have it in mono if it's a mono instrument. Now let's check what happens if we choose a groove and play it. As you can see, everything is coming out of its own channel. We haven't heard the toms yet, but believe me, it's working. What's not working anymore is the panning now, because we've set everything to mono and put it in the center, so the panning needs to be done in the mixer now. We can do this here as we would with every other track, but we will save that for later. We will leave it as it is for now. So now that the first step is done, I usually do some tidying up, which means I select all these auxiliary tracks and then I go to Options and Create Tracks for Selected Channel Strips, or Control T. Now we have all these channel strips here on the left side, which makes it a bit more easier to navigate and pleasant to look at. Let's play again. That's working just fine. Since I don't want to see those channels all the time, I select them all and then I go to Track, Create Track Stack. And I just choose a folder stack to basically hide them in a folder, and I call it EZaux. The only thing missing now are the individual audio channels that we need to record the output of the aux tracks. So we go ahead and create 21 audio tracks. The shortcut is Option, Command, and A. So I will create 21 of these. All right, that's done. We still got this one from when I created the session. Here we go. Let's close EZDrummer to make a bit of space for what's going to happen now. Now we will be choosing the output of the auxiliary tracks as inputs for the audio tracks. So I will start with some labeling for orientation first. What we have to do now is to route these aux tracks to individual buses and then select these buses as inputs to the audio tracks. So let's start with kick in, which is always my number one. Logic sometimes mixes the order up here. So we just choose a free bus. Let's start with 129. You could choose whatever you want. Let's go 129. This one goes to 130. This one goes to 131, 132, and so on. I will speed this up again. Okay, now I've routed every aux channel to a bus. And in the last step, we have to select these buses as inputs for the audio channels. So as I said, I wanted to start with kick in, which is on 129. So I go to input, bus, 29. Kick out would be 130. Kick sub is 131. And I will speed this up again. I think you got the idea. Okay, done. So let's take a look at the signal flow again. We have our software instrument EZDrummer. Let's rename the track to make it more obvious. We have our outputs routed to individual channels. These are still stereo pairs, but we're using the pan mode to decide on which side or on which channel it leaves the instrument. Then we have 21 aux tracks. We chose the inputs and decided which channel we want to hear, the left one or the right one, setting it to mono and choosing the input balance. Then we routed each aux track to a bus and chose these buses as inputs for the audio tracks. This is a bit complicated, but remember, you don't have to do that again. You can save it as a template. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. That's way too tedious. Now, if we select all of these audio tracks and set them to input monitoring, and then go back to EZDrummer and choose a groove, we should be seeing signal in these channels. And as you can see, that works just fine. So now let's try and record the output of EZDrummer to the individual tracks. But wait, before that we have to do one little thing. You remember we had some channels that we just want to have in mono and some that we just want to have in stereo. This, for example, should be stereo, so I have to choose the channel mode right next to the input selector just by clicking on it and set it to stereo. This one is stereo, this one as well, and percussion overhead is stereo as well. The rest is in mono. Okay, now I hide the mixer by clicking X on the keyboard. I select all of these, put them in record mode, and start to record. I go back to EZDrummer and let's play a groove. Let's stop the recording, and as you can see, the output signal has been recorded onto the individual tracks. And overhead is stereo. Everything else seems to be mono, exactly as we wanted it. Let's end the record mode and see what happens if we play it back. It works exactly as expected. We recorded all the individual channels and can proceed producing, mixing however we want to with actual audio files, and we are not restricted anymore to the 16 auxiliary outputs that Logic offers us in the standard configuration. So this gives us way more flexibility, especially when you're working with the Superior Drummer, where you can choose even more outputs, where the kits are bigger. And yeah, that should make your life a whole lot easier. Now to clean this up a bit more, I want to put the audio channels into a folder as well. So I select them all, I go to track, create track stack, folder stack. You could also choose a summing stack if you feel you need it. It doesn't really matter. I stay with folder track for now. And I will call this Easy Audio. And this way we have the whole configuration neatly packed into folders. This is the auxiliary tracks, our audio tracks, and the instruments. And if you're using Logic 10.8, I think, maybe a bit earlier, they added the option to pack folders into folders, which wasn't an option before. So I select all of them, go to tracks again, create a track stack, call it Easy or whatever you want to call it. And now it's all neatly packed in here. We can go to EZDrummer, choose a groove, drag it onto this track. We don't want to import the tempo, no. We can play it here. It's coming out. It's coming out of the aux channels. And if we want to record it, we just select them all, enable record mode. Let's delete this. and click record. And even if I delete the MIDI file, we can still hear all the drums. And the last thing I want to do is to get rid of my test recordings here. Close the folders and say save as template. We call it EZ YouTube. And now if we close the project, and now we can just create a new project from a template. And then we have that here as an option, EZ YouTube. Let's choose this one. And as you can see, the whole configuration is still there. And you can use it however you like. It should be still working just fine. One more trick, we can also just save it as a regular project in my Logic folder, EZ YouTube. We close the project again, create a new one, but not from a template this time. Let's just create an audio track, and then we can always go to this button here, or just hit F on the keyboard. Go to all files, go to Music, Logic, choose the EZ YouTube project, and then select all of the channels up until percussion overhead. So we have the audio channels, we have the stacks, and we have the aux and the instrument. And we choose to import all the plugins. We want to keep the input and output routing. I also want to keep the bus numbers. I don't want to keep automation. I say add. And now it takes a second. And it imported the whole configuration to an existing project. This would also work if there were already like 200 tracks in it. So you can always add this setup into every project that you want. Okay, we're done. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope I could present it in an understandable way. I know it's a bit of click work, it's a bit tedious, but if you follow it step by step, it should be fairly easy. And if you do less talking than I did during the video, it should be a process of maybe 10 minutes or something like that. And it will give you great flexibility when you're working with EZDrummer, Superior Drummer, or other software libraries. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And of course, like, subscribe, and all that. I know you have to say that on YouTube, don't you? Thank you so much for watching, and see you in another video.